All right. Yeah, we can bring him in. Let's bring him in. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're about to kick things off. Oh, all right. One second, child. What's going on? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Hope y'all are doing great. Hope y'all are doing great. Give me, I want to make sure that I am copacetic here. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Here we go. Good to see y'all. Good to see everybody on the call. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited, and y'all should be excited as well, man. This is gonna be a real treat. And here's what I want to know, man. Where are y'all tapping in from? Let me know. Give me the city or state that you're in right now that you're tapping in from. Type in the chat box. This is going to be some interact. We're going to have some interactive things going on today. Type in the chat box. Let me see. We got Vancouver, San Diego's in the building. Adrian, what's going on, my guy? I see one of my guys in the building. Houston. Anybody from Texas, let me know. We're neighbors. I'm over here in Houston as well. I see Austin's in the building. What's going on, Matthew? I see you, man. I see you. Oh, man. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. You know, it's interesting. I always like to kind of get where y'all coming from, kind of get a gauge geographically, because for one, I want to know where in this, where, what part of the world you're tapping in from for sure. But at the same time, you know, everybody's always concerned about their market when it comes to real estate. You know, I guess people in San Diego, people in Detroit, whatnot. They think that market's too expensive, right? Sometimes they're right, right? They think that there's no good deals in my market, and sometimes there's some truth to that. Cuba's in the building. My goodness, love that, love that, love that. And believe it or not, there's deals. There's deals everywhere. There's deals everywhere. A lot of times, folks just don't necessarily know how to get the good deals, how to find them, right? So I love that. I love that. Appreciate y'all tapping in on. Let me know where y'all tapping in from. Again, I am here in Houston, Texas. Appreciate y'all for coming on here tonight and tapping in with your boy. I know there's a lot of things that you could be doing right now, right? You could be doing a lot of things tonight, but choosing to hang out here because Irvine, I see you. I see you. Y'all are choosing to hang out here because, right? Um, you are looking to make more money. You're looking to change courses. You're looking to do some big things in 2026, and we're looking into doing that by the way of hotels. So if you notice, you know, hotels, very, very interesting asset class when it comes to real estate, right? Hotels is begin. If you notice, it kind of began a lot of more popular about the past two or 3 years or so. Now, obviously, the very idea of buying hotels seems out of reach, borderline impossible for a lot of people. But you start to see a lot of more conversation, and I think it's for two main reasons. For one, Airbnb. And I can say honestly, I probably contributed to that for sure. Exactly, because of Airbnb. You kind of notice that with Airbnb, it's kind of that natural progression to go from the STR world to kind of that hotel world. I remember what got me into hotels. I bought some duplexes and I bought a fourplex. And that fourplex, I realized that multiple doors in one location is a game changer. It changes everything from how you operate, cash flow wise, how you manage inventory, your staff. It changes everything about your business when you got multiple doors in one location. So obviously, again, it's always interesting when I talk to people about buying hotels. They think it's so far out of reach. You know, it's always interesting when I say, oh, well, I want to get into the hotel game. So I want to get into the hotel game, TJ. And I ask, well, what's your timeline? When are you looking to make that happen? And it's always like, okay, that's like a 5 year goal, a 10-year goal, or sometimes it may even seem like it's just out of reach, right? But at the end of the day, um, the first thing I want to kind of preference, right? I want to kind of give y'all a pat on the back for one, because at the end of the day, actually being open-minded enough to thinking that this is possible for you is a huge thing, right? And today I'm going to show you not only why it's possible, but why it's probable as well. Now, unfortunately, again, so many people will just kind of get into their own way. They kind of get in their own way when it comes to hotel investing. Hotel is too expensive. Hotels, there's no good deals out anywhere. I've never even bought a rental property before, you let alone a hotel. I could never, like, how could I possibly even get into this game? And they're basically kind of closing the door to hundreds of thousands in cash flow and millions in net worth for themselves without even trying. And that's the reality of it. So I want to give y'all a round of applause for being here today and being abundantly minded enough in your mindset to think that this is possible. And I mean that. Now, I'm sure there's still skepticism. Every single person I'm sure all y'all still have your skepticism, maybe some reservations and some fears, concerns about it. So what I want to do today is by the end of this webinar, you're going to understand exactly why this is no different than going out and getting, any other commercial asset or a small apartment complex or even, hard to say, a rental property, right? But it just has way higher returns. So you need to stay to the end because we're going to cover a lot of details today and why this is so possible, right? So now, who am I? All right, why in the heck should you even be listening to me? My name is TJ Tijani. I've been investing in real estate for, 10 years now. Since 2016, done over 70 plus transactions. I've dabbled into long-term rentals, creative financing, which we jam out on. I've wholesaled quite a bit. I amassed an Airbnb portfolio here in Houston, got up to 35 doors here in Houston, and recently we've been closing on hotel deals through syndications, creative financing, with me and my business partner Sujay, who currently has over 100 million in under management when it comes to with hotels. And together we work personally with a lot of investors, both folks that are completely new in the residential space or the commercial space to buying their first or second hotel that guarantees operational cash flow while also having a lot of equity on the back end. So along with that, I have had the privilege, and it's been a heck of a ride. I've had the privilege of sharing the stage with some of the best entrepreneurs, real estate experts, and real estate investors on the planet, spreading the word, talking to folks about not only just hotels. I've spoken about short-term rentals, real estate investing, creative financing. We speak on hotels, but I've been able to share the stage with some of the most impactful people in the entrepreneurship space and the real estate space. And it has been a heck of a ride. So it is honestly, when I tell y'all that even just being on this call with y'all, I don't take it lightly. Hold on. Can y'all see my screen? Y'all can't see my screen, huh? Hold on one second. My bad. My bad. Let me make sure. Give me a. All right. Give me a one or a yes in the chat box. If you can see my screen right now. Give me a one or a yes in the chat box. If you can see my screen. Perfect. All right, perfect. So again, I've had the honor, pleasure of sharing the stage with some of the most amazing entrepreneurs in the game, amazing real estate investors in the game. And again, I want to preface that by saying that even being here with y'all on this call right now, I don't take it lightly. I absolutely do not take this lightly whatsoever. It's a true honor to get to do this, to get to educate, to get to add value with something that we love so much, something that I'm passionate about. It's been a heck of a ride. It's been a heck of a ride this far, and we are just getting started. That's what's amazing. That's what's amazing about it. Again, so why hotels? Because at the end of the day, there's three main reasons why I choose hotels over any other asset class in real estate right now. Right. For one, it's higher cash flow than residential, higher rate of return, and flexible financing options. When it comes to cash flow, understand hotels are operating businesses, right? They're not just real estate. That is the biggest difference. Unlike residential properties with fixed monthly rent, hotels monetize per night, per room, per service. Revenue, when it comes to hotels, revenue is driven by ADRs, average daily rates, occupancy, right? So a lot of random ancillary income. Think about parking, food and beverage, late checkouts, event spaces. right? Revenue is driven by additional revenue streams that's possible when it comes to hotels. And you can push revenue through better management. You can push revenue through pricing optimization, adding value through renovation, rebranding your hotel, marketing, distribution channels, right? Having your own website, but also being on third-party sites like Expedia, Booking.com, VRBO. You can book hotels on all these sites. With a house or apartment complex, you are capped by the rent. With hotels, you increase income weekly, sometimes daily, right? Hotels often they generate 2 to 4 times the gross revenue per dollar of real estate compared to long-term rentals. This is why we love hotels. This is why sophisticated investors move into hotels once they decide that they want to scale and generate real cash flow, not just appreciation. There's a very, very important conversation happening right now in the world of social media when it comes to rental properties. If you noticed, if you paid attention, you're seeing that the folks, when they talk about residential real estate, they talk about how these assets, while they're great, they serve their purpose. But if you purchase a house right now to make it a rental property, they're not. And I had to learn this, and that's one of the reasons why I love Airbnb and short-term rentals, and I got into the hotels. Traditional rentals, especially at this market, they're not high cash flow plays, phenomenal tax plays, phenomenal equity plays. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you exit a deal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what asset you. I don't care if you're wholesaling. I don't care if you're doing Airbnb. You're doing long-term rentals. You make your money when you buy. That's just the real about it, and that holds true. But a lot of conversations happening right now about traditional residential rentals and how they cash flow maybe $200, maybe $300 a month, and one thing happens and you're cooked, or maybe it takes you 2 months or 3 months to find that perfect tenant. You're cooked, right? And so this is one of the reasons why we love commercial real estate for one, and we love hotels, right? But cash flow is only part of the story. Cash flow is only part of the story. The real wealth is created through returns, return ROI. That's what we got to focus on when it comes to hotels. And that's why I want to get to, that's going to segue me into high rate of return. The second thing, hotels are valued based on performance. Understand it, not just comps, based on performance, not just comps. Values is driven by the NOI. The NOI is the net operating income. Feel free to write that down if you didn't know that. The net operating income, which you can directly control. So when you increase NOI, you force appreciate the asset. When you increase NOI, you can refinance sooner. You can exit at a much higher valuation because you forced appreciate the asset. Even the smallest improvements when it comes to hotels, even the smallest improvements in operations can create massive equity jumps. For example, let's say I increase the NOI of a hotel by $200,000, a $200,000 increase in NOI on a modest 8% cap rate. That's $2.5 million in added value that you just added to that hotel. Feel free to do the math. That simply does not exist when it comes to residential real estate, unless somehow rents just skyrocket like crazy, which when have we ever seen that happen, right? The returns are higher. They're higher, right? And they're higher because hotels allow operational upside. Remember, it's a real estate asset, but it's a business just as much. And expense optimization. You'll realize very quickly when you start investing in hotels that the offense, well, let me just put it like this. The defense is just as important as the offense. Every dollar you can save is just as important as every dollar that you can make, because saving a dollar increases your NOI as well and your expenses. Adding a dollar increases your NOI, but saving a dollar also increases your NOI. This is why hotels regularly deliver high IRRs. IRRs is internal rate of return. That just means that's a time value of return. That's when you raise capital, your investors, when you have a good IRR, 15% or more, that lets your investors know that you're going to get your return back in decent time so you can put your money back in another asset. But with hotels, we see, of course, the mid-teens. I mean, 15%, you're in pretty good shape, up to 20% plus when you buy properly. Remember, it's all about how you buy, right? So when it comes to hotels, understand that you're not waiting on a market. You're creating the market in a weird way. And the reason this is possible is because hotels give you a lot more ways to structure a deal, right? And that brings us to my next point, the financing options. Hotels are one of the most creatively financeable asset class in commercial real estate. We're talking about, of course, the tried and true way: bank and your limited partners or your lending partners, bank and capital and investors. Very tried and true way to do a deal. Then there's seller financing. You can add seller carry on that. You can mix in seller carry. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. Joint ventures. You can assume a loan. Creatively is the name of the game. Matter of fact, we lead with creative ways when we try to make offers on our deals and comes to structuring our deals. Understand that a lot of sellers that sell hotels, folks that sell hotels, they're operators, right? They're not big institutions. They're operators. And that just opens the door to creative structures, that creative options for you, right? You can buy when you're able to buy a deal creatively, you can buy with less cash. You can put together and really structure win-win situations with the seller where everybody wins. You can reduce the risk to your investors. All these are very, very crucial stuff. See, residential real estate is too rigid. There's not as much room for that. Now, you can get creative with residential as well. I mean, I say you can. You absolutely can. But it's more rigid, right? Banks look at the comps. They tell you yes or no. That's it. Hotels, negotiable. And everything's negotiable. Matter of fact, their terms, and I'll tell you, one of the things I always like to say when it comes to creative financing, their terms are more important than the price. I know that sounds weird, but the terms are actually more important than the price. And with hotels, the terms are just part of the deal. We negotiate terms all the time. Okay, so a lot of this flexibility is exactly why a lot of experienced investors use hotels to scale faster with other people's money. With other people's money. When you put a hotel deal together properly, you're not using your own money. So when you combine high cash flow, forced appreciation, remember we can control our NOI. High cash flow, forced appreciation, and flexible financing, you get one of the most powerful wealth building vehicles in real estate. Okay, so now here's the biggest bottleneck, which is the three things that I want to talk about. The big things I want to cover today are the three very, very crucial pain points or concerns that absolutely stops people in their tracks when it comes to even trying to invest in hotels, trying to solve these problems when it comes to hotels. And I'm going to solve these problems right in front of you right now today. So by the end of this, you will know what is possible with hotels. The big three things that everybody stopped themselves on when it comes to hotel investing are these three things: sourcing deals, underwriting, and financing. This is the reason why they think hotels are too big, or they think it's impossible. And they never take that step forward to actually, helping themselves, because it's either, gets blocked by one of these three things. Where do I find a deal? Valid point. How in the world do I know it is a good deal? How do I know it's a good deal and actually be confident with my underwriting, my analysis? And the last one, how the heck am I going to get this thing funded? How am I going to pay for it? So I hope y'all have a pen and pad ready to go, because we're going to help you into these details right now. We're going to dive into these details. And then, of course, I got a little something for y'all at the back end, on the end of this. So again, stick around. Now, quick disclaimer. You'll see there's a lot of presentations online, a lot of webinars, a lot of great people hosting stuff, and a lot of folks are going to cover a lot of superficial things. They're going to make you guys feel like this stuff is really easy and, get you guys to think that it's too good to be true. On the other side of that is that if you're hoping that I'm just going to be able to hand you guys a hotel deal by the end of this presentation, then do me a favor, you probably should jump off. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, because what I'm here to do is talk to the people who are absolutely ambitious, those who are serious, who know that this is possible for them. They just need to kind of figure out the how and the what, right? And to make sure that they don't make any costly mistakes in the process, because we're all on the journey, right? We want to minimize as many. We want to keep our mistake threshold as low as possible. So I'm really going to help you guys understand how you can build net worth, multi-millionaire net worth through hotels within the next 12 months if you follow these steps. Otherwise, if you're just here to be entertained, I recommend Netflix. They got some new heat dropping this year. Okay, we're all here to figure this thing out and make some money. Okay, now give me a yes in the chat box right now if you're ready to get into the value and show you what's possible in hotels in 2026. Give me a yes in the chat box right now. Let me see it, man. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. Fran says, I need a partner. How can I find one? I got you, Fran. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Give me a yes in the chat box. Give me a yes in the chat box. I want to see it. Fantastic. 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 Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, okay. When it comes to sourcing the deal, okay, I speak to a lot of people who are interested in owning hotels for one. And they always tell me that there aren't any good deals in their area, right? If you can experience, just give me a one in the chat box if you've experienced this for yourself. If you've actually looked for deals before and you feel like it's just hard to find deals, especially on market, right? Most people, they think on market deals are bad deals. There are multiple ways you can source deals. We're talking on market and off market. There's really your deal bucket is going to come from one of these two sources. Deals on market or off market. Now, as far as on market deals, these are going to be your two top sites to find deals for hotels. If you don't know about these two already, I know a lot of people do. LoopNet and Crexy. LoopNet and Crexy. These are commercial real estate sites. So filter out for hotels because you can find storage units, apartment complexes, warehouses, all kind of commercial assets on these sites. This is like the MLS for commercial real estate. LoopNet and Crexy. Those are the two main ones. Okay. Now, when it comes to these sites, these are on-market deals. On-market deals go on these sites. Most people think that on-market deals are bad deals, and that's simply not true. On-market doesn't mean bad. It means competitive deals. And I can tell you between, every week, 30 to, I'll say 20 to 30 people every week that want to buy hotels. I talk to them and they're scrolling through these websites looking for deals, right? But that's pretty much as far as they go. I can tell you that every single week when I talk to folks who are scrolling through, I ask them, well, how many offers are you making? Right? There's very little. And I can tell you that that's your problem, right? That is your problem. Now, I want y'all to know if you're doing what most folks are, and I am not mad at you. I love the fact that you're even looking, right? If you're getting stuck, right? If you're getting stuck, I can tell you that we need to shift our mindset of how we look at on market deals. Okay. Now, where you're getting hooked on and where you're getting stuck at is assuming that the number that is listed for the price is a number that you have to pay for it. I can tell you right now, the reason why we have so many success in our community in finding hotel deals is because we're constantly making offers. We're constantly making offers. Every deal that we make an offer on that's on market, they're either lower than what they're asking for, of course, or it's a creative options. One of those two. One of those two. So if you're scrolling through the website, you're not finding any good deals, you ain't made any offers yet, again, this is your problem. I'm consistently making offers when we see potential. Matter of fact, the deal we're working on right now, we made an offer that was so out of the price range they had a listed for, but they reached back out to me to do business. They reached out to me afterwards to do business. So I want you to understand, in a lot of cases, it's not that there isn't any good deals on the market. It's almost like you have to create the good deal. So pricing is crucial. I'm not gonna this pricing is 100% crucial, but you don't only win on price. You also win on structure and certainty. Certainty is another very big thing. I can tell you right now, if a seller has a deal that has two offers, one's lower, one's higher, but the lower offer has certainty to close, they will go with the lower offer 9 times out of 10, especially with commercial real estate. Okay, so there are multiple factors. It's not just the price. Sellers care about speed, credibility, clean execution, win-win situations. That's why we have this. We always try to find out what do they need. If we can come up with something creative, let's do that. Because when you got creative financing, you can do quick closes. There, and strong. You can get strong terms and still win. I would actually surmise that on market is where a lot of new investors should start. Start to learn the game. Because when you go on market, you find a deal or even a potential deal, you can learn very quickly how hotel deals are valued. Because you got to call the broker up to get the financials. You got to call them up to get the financials anyway. Unless sometimes you'll find a deal that they posted, they've had the link on there where you can access it. You'll learn very quickly what brokers expect. And when you start analyzing these deals, when you start doing enough of them, you'll learn how to underwrite deals. So I say all that to say, I do not want y'all to discount on market deals. My current deal was an on market deal. Okay. Okay. When it comes to off market doesn't mean secret deal. It means relationship driven. That's what off market means. Off market is where real leverage and creativity lives. When you're looking at off-market deals, sources for them, they can come from direct owner conversations. Brokers trust. Brokers trust is one of my favorite ways to get off-market deals. When you start building a relationship with a broker, they'll just send you a deal. Say, hey, what you think about this one before I list it? Industry relationship. There are a lot of people that you will connect with in the hotel game, from the broker to the title company to the attorneys to the people you raise capital from. Building relationships with these people will get you more off-market deals. Your reputation can get you more off-market deals. The way you follow up can get you more off-market deals. Understand this. There are a lot of hotel owners. Remember I talked about how hotel sellers, these folks are operators. A lot of them are burnt out. They're undercapitalized. A lot of them are near retirement. They would love to just get cash flow, keep getting cash flow without having to operate. This is where you can come in and be of value to them. They have operational stress. A lot of folks that are retiring, especially at the time that we're in right now, folks that are retiring that are wanting to sell their hotels. A lot of them don't even keep good books. Did you know that if you wanted to go to a traditional bank, they need to see 2 years of books. They need to see 2 years of financials on that hotel. What if that seller doesn't have 2 years of solid books? Now you have to buy it creatively. You have to. There's no other option for them to sell it. Again, these are where you can find powerful deals when you go off market, and they're powerful because it's less competition, a lot more flexibility, better terms, higher chance of doing something creative, of getting into a creative structure. This is why one of the first things we do in our community is we show our members exactly where the highest leverage places are to put themselves, right? The network, the communities that they need to start building these relationships in. So if off market is your goal, understand that you're not hunting deals, you're positioning yourself so deals can come to you. That's the best way to get off market deals. What matters is consistent outreach, professional follow-up, having a very clear buy box. Your buy box is important. There's a hotel in Montrose right now that we're analyzing. They want $4.2 million. It's 25 key boutique hotel. It's not a branded deal. But there's also a 4.2. There's also a Comfort Inn Suites by Bush Airport here in Houston. that has 72 rooms, 72 keys. They also want $4 million for that deal. Both are hotels, similar price points, two totally different assets, though. This is why your buy box is important. Okay? So remember, at the end of the day, if you're looking to buy a hotel, right, it's probably because you have a job and maybe you running a business of some kind. You have responsibilities. You're working full time, right, and you're looking to create this opportunity to build wealth, to get into this game. But you may not have 30 to 60 hours a week, like to keep sifting through deals every single day. Maybe you don't. Okay. So when I closed my first deal, I was managing 35 Airbnbs when I bought my first boutique hotel. I was traveling a lot, speaking everywhere, all those things. I was stretched thin. So the way and the reason I was able to create the opportunities because I put myself in position. I was talking to brokers, investors, let them know exactly what I was looking for, what I was doing. People in the space, let them know, right? The however you feel about Grant Cardone, however you might feel about Grant, he says something that I think is very crucial. He says, you're not making enough money because not enough people know who you are. It was actually my first boutique hotel. It was actually a wholesaler that brought me that deal, right? Contacted him, say, hey, talking to folks. This is my parameter. This is what I'm looking for. So if you come across something, let me shoot my shot first. At the very least, I'll make you an offer. Okay. Now remember, brokers, they get paid if you close on their deal, by the way. They get paid if you close. So what you're literally offering for them is to make money faster at the end of the day. They make money, you make money, everybody wins. Win-win situations are the best deals. This is, again, why relationships are so crucial in this game. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense, y'all. Now, underwriting. I want to pull up an example deal here. Pull this up. Okay, perfect. Give me a yes or one in the chat box. You can see my screen. You can see this underwriting sheet, this Excel sheet right now. Give me a one or a yes in the chat box. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Okay. This is an example deal. This is a deal that we're currently working on as well. Feel free to look it up. Purchase price. There's a few things I want to show you because, again, trust me, if I really if I deduce this sheet, we'll be on here for a few hours. Trust what I tell you. So I just want to point out a few key things about the underwriting. This is our underwriting sheet, by the way. We use this sheet. We live here on this sheet. This is the spreadsheet that every single person in our community gets. This is what they use to underwrite hotels. You can use this to stress test. You can use this to analyze worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, really stress test the deal, right? Look at pro formas, whether the deal is already operational, whether it's not, whether it needs rehab, whether it doesn't. This is what you need to get it done. This is what allows deals like hotel deals like this to stand apart from residential deals. We don't analyze it the same whatsoever. Again, we live on this sheet. Quick thing, purchase price is here, right? Purchase price 5.7. Our bank, we already know our bank is giving us, they're giving us 70% on the debt. By the way, if you just aren't familiar with like the terms, debt, when you talk about debt, you'll hear this when you talk to brokers or investors or people you raise money from or just anybody in the game. The debt is what the bank is giving you. The equity is the money you raise. So how much equity you bring or whatever. That's not equity like you own a house. That's what are you bringing to the table. That's your out-of-pocket cost. Again, right? So a couple things I just want to point out real quick on this first page. Purchase price, 30% down that we're going to raise. And again, that's not what you're putting down. You think I'm coming up with $1.7 million? I'm not ponying up 1.7. We are raising that capital. We're using other people's money to do it. Closing costs, we factor that in, and we're paying ourselves. You should be paying yourself for putting the deal together. When you put a deal together, you should pay yourself to do it. You should purchase the property. Again, it's not about how you operate or your exit strategy, your flipping, your wholesaler. It's about how you buy it. You buy it and in a way that you know you've made room to pay yourself. Okay, this is our total raise. I'm not going to go through everything. All this is the financial assumption. I'm not going to go through all that, all this stuff. This is pretty much the exit side. This is the waterfall. What we're essentially going to how our investors are going to get paid. What our prep is, right? What we're potentially going to sell it for. All that jazz. Now I want to go over here to the deal summary. Some very key things I want to show you that investors look for when you go out and raise capital. These are the metrics that investors look for, and they say, okay, okay, this could work. Okay, this is a good deal. Okay, this is how they're gonna stress test your deal. For one, you want to look at the average cash on cash, right? If your average cash on cash, again, this is assuming a 5-year hold, but a sell at year 6. We're selling this thing at year 6 with a 5-year hold. Assuming a 5-year hold with a 6-year sale, 22% average, including the exit. Remember, I talked about the IRR. We want to be at least 15%. We're looking good. At the very minimum, 15. We're looking good. Another thing I want to show you, very important metric, the equity multiple. The equity multiple kind of sums everything. Equity multiple says if the equity multiple is 1.5, for example, that means I give you 100K, you get back 150K. If it's 2, I give you 100K, you get back 200K after the exit. So this is all stuff for your investors. All these metrics is on this side. LP means limited partners or lending partners. They both mean the same thing. GP, general partners, principal. That is what you are. For bringing the opportunity, you are the GP. You are the person putting the deal together. You are the principal on the deal. And any partner that you have that's a GP with you, y'all are co-GPs. This is how much money we make as GPs over the time period for this deal. Again, we pay ourselves. Not only do we pay ourselves, this is a no money out of pocket deal. This is one of the beautiful things about doing commercial real estate, hotels in particular, is that your highest skill, your best skill is to learn how to put these deals together. Learn how to underwrite, learn how to put these deals together. Okay. So let me get back. Okay. Y'all can still see my screen, right? It should say underwriting. Give me a 1 and you can see my screen. I just want to make sure. I just want to confirm. Perfect. So do you see, y'all? If you let's just even look at on market deals. If you're out here, you're making offers. Say you send out 5 offers every single week. Even if you're lowballing folks, after a month, you got like 20 to 30 offers out there. Every month that goes by, that they don't sell that hotel, the pain grows. They get more and more desperate. The standards get lower. Right? That's when your phone will start to ring. And which is what exactly happened to me. They called back and said that, hey, look, we'll take it. Matter of fact, this particular deal, I'll tell you, they had it listed for $6.9 million. I underwrote it. I said I'll give you $6 million for it. They said, listen, TJ, you're smoking. We're not even on the same planet. What the heck? Which we weren't, because a lot of deals you don't buy deals with that much of a gap. Like it's listed. They said, listen, we're just not in the same place. I said, well, no problem. My offer's still good. Let me know if anything changes. This is why you gotta know what your numbers are. Don't force anything. Remember, this asset has to perform. It has to perform. You have investors in most cases. They call back almost 6 months later. They call back. They say, is that deal still good? Is that offer still good? I said, well, okay, well, now I got to go back and look at it again. Now I got to go back and reanalyze it and look at it. We went back and we underwrote the deal, found out some more information about it. I said, listen, we're at 5.7 now. They said, okay, we'll take it. The pain grew. That's 1.2 million under asking about, just about. You know what I mean? So from 6.9 million asking to 5.7 under agreeable contract. Again, if y'all think that in a deal like that, or really any other deal, we're throwing in the equity, I'm telling you right now, we're not. My business partner Sujay, who owns over 100 million in hotels under management, he doesn't use any of his own money to buy his deals. So don't waste your hard-earned capital in funding your own deals where you can get other people to do it for you. You just have to structure the deal to where it makes sense for it. Okay, which we're going to talk about next. Get the deal funded. Okay, this when it comes to financing options, there's a lot of options you can go. I want to talk about a few of them though. There's the bank debt. Again, the debt is what the bank is giving you. There's the bank debt, right? With raising capital. This is the most common, most familiar way that people think about buying hotels. It works 100%. It works. Bank debt usually requires you to put 25 to 40% down, right? They usually like to see, strong personal or balance sheets. They want to see like a proven, like they want to see operational history from the hotel. They want to see like financials that go back, again, 2 years at the minimum for the most part. You may come across a bank that want 3 years. Your LPs, which again is your limited partners, also known as your lending partners, they bring the equity and y'all together share on the upside. This is what the bank debt and LP is. The good thing about it is, you could probably get some of the lowest interest rate on the market, especially if you get a conventional loan, right? And every one that you close with a bank, you're building institutional credibility, which is a great thing, right? So, but of course, it's less flexibility. It's not like you can. It's less flexibility when it comes to this, right? So that's just kind of one of the downsides of it. But at the end of the day, this gets it done. This gets a hotel deal done. Tried and true, very traditional way to get it done. The bank debt rewards good asset that's stable. It rewards stability. It rarely rewards creativity. Hope that makes sense. Then they can get creative. Creative financing, we're talking about, seller financing, seller carry. Now, seller financing and seller carry, don't get them misconstrued. They're different. Seller financing, it means that it's just between you and the seller. There's no banks involved. No banks involved. Seller financing, you agree on a down payment, whatever the case may be, agree on an interest rate, agree on amortization, all that, and everything is negotiable. Don't let them say nothing is. Everything is negotiable when you do seller financing. And don't think it's impossible to get a no interest deal. You can get a no interest deal, by the way. Everything's negotiable, right? Especially if the owner has high equity or if they own it free and clear. Great opportunities to do seller financing. A lot of owners, again, they're tired of operations. They want income without management. That's a good opportunity to do seller financing. A lot of times you're able to negotiate less out of pocket. You get flexible terms, faster closings, higher returns. When there's no bank involved, the seller is your bank, and everything's negotiable, right? Now, seller carry is different. Think of seller carry as kind of like a hybrid structure. Is debt with the seller carrying the note. You can use seller carry with bank debt. What if the bank is going to fund the 70% and the seller carries the 30%? Now you don't have to raise anything. Again, still a no out of pocket deal. What if you're buying a hotel for $1 million? You agree on a 50-50 to where they get 50% down and they carry the other 50%. You raise the 50% and the seller carries the other 50%. Great thing. Again, even with that underwriting sheet, you can factor in a seller carry on there as well. You can literally analyze any situation with that underwriting sheet. So Seller carry is very, very powerful, especially when you literally have to hybrid it with something else. But it's not seller financing. A seller carry, a bank can be involved. They're just carrying paper, a portion of it. But with seller financing, there's no bank involved. The great thing about doing creative financing is that it makes deals that probably usually wouldn't pencil suddenly work. And a lot of people fail on deals. A lot of deals fail because people are only using one tool. All these things we're talking about, they're all tools. They're not one size fit all. Is you got to analyze what works for which situation. Bank debt might not be ideal for every situation. Seller financing might not be ideal for every situation. There's one more creative structure I want to touch on, which is master leasing. Another good way to get into a hotel deal. Master leasing is control first, ownership later. It's cash flow while still proving operations. It's great. You can when you can if you out there constantly looking for deals, you can spot a master leasing opportunity. It's when a seller wants out, property is probably underperforming, and you need to stabilize it, right? Stabilize the asset before financing it, before taking it to a bank to finance it. That you can do a master lease. Great opportunity. So with master leasing, ownership is not the goal. Control is the goal. I hope that makes sense. I want to touch on that as well. Now, also want to touch on some very, very, very key metrics. Remember, hotels is every bit of a real estate asset, but it's also every bit of a business at the same time. So there are three very key metrics on the business side that I want you to keep in mind. Write down, start to look at, analyze, which is the RevPAR, the ADR. RevPAR is revenue per available room. That's what RevPAR stands for. The ADR is the average daily rate, and the occupancy rate. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, when it comes to RevPAR, if I were to pick one of these metrics, RevPAR, ADR, occupancy, if I were to pick one that tells me whether this hotel is actually healthy, it's the RevPAR. You see the math there. RevPAR, it is your ADR times your occupancy rate. It literally measures how efficiently the hotel turns rooms into revenue. How efficiently does it do that? See, you can't game the RevPAR. You can't game it. There's no way around it. Because if you have high occupancy with low rates, you still don't win. If you have high rates with empty rooms, you still don't win. You can't game the RevPAR. The RevPAR tells me if the pricing and the demand are working well together. That's what the RevPAR tells me. Are they working well together? The pricing and demand. Hope that makes sense. Next thing is the ADR. The ADR is your pricing power. It's your average daily rate. It is literally the average revenue earned per occupied room. ADR is also very important, right? It matters because when you have a good ADR, if your ADR is high, especially compared to other hotels, you can improve your margins. When you have good ADR, you can reduce the wear and tear on your buildings. Because honestly, think about it. If your hotel is a 90% occupied consistently, 100% occupied consistently, you're not winning. I'd rather be 65 to 70% occupied at a higher ADR than have a lower ADR and be 100% occupied. Because that right there, just that alone attracts, either going to attract better quality guests or not, right? A lot of operators try to grow by just filling the rooms instead of charging correctly. Two totally different things. The ADR, like you can increase the ADR. There are ways you can do it. Of course, the market has to agree, but you can increase it with renovations, rebranding, right? Providing a better guest experience, managing your yields better, like managing your pricing. Because if you just have a stagnant pricing, you're leaving money on the table. Your ADR grows when your guests believe the experience is worth it. That's when your ADR grows. When it comes to occupancy is the demand capture. literally means the percentage of the available room sold. Pretty self-explanatory. It's important also because it keeps the cash flow flowing. When you got good occupancy, it absorbs all your fixed costs because like you have expenses. Good occupancy absorbs your expenses, gives you more leverage when you are operating, more operational leverage. Again, you don't want 100% occupancy though. That is the wrong way to frame your buildings, right? Because when you have 100% occupancy at the wrong price, you're not winning. You're not. You can improve occupancy. There are multiple ways you can do it, especially if you're underperforming occupancy wise compared to other hotels, right? Focus on B2B business, hospitals, universities, event centers, and places like that. Optimize your length of stay. Maybe offer good deals for if they stay longer, right? Think about businesses, corporate group contracts, right? So there's a certain level of balance that matters with all these metrics. The RevPAR is the results, the ADR is the strategy, the occupancy is the execution. And the investor who wins in hotels, they're not guessing. They're literally managing these three levers daily. Okay. Understand that not all hotels grow the same. Okay. So at the end of the day, these these are the key things to know and understand on the business side. We talked about the real estate side earlier. This is the business side of hotels. Hope that makes sense, y'all. Give me a one or a yes if you're getting value from this in the chat box. Just give me a yes in the chat box right now if you're getting value. Give me a yes in the chat box if you are getting value. ADR is your average daily rate, friend. ADR is your average daily rate. While equity has a different meaning in a hotel arena. Why equity? So explain why equity has a different meaning in a hotel arena. Oh well, okay. Okay. So they're asking because I mentioned equity. Equity means equity still. Equity is still your equity. If I own a hotel that's I have a loan of $1 million, but I can sell the hotel for 2.5. You have a 1.5 equity, 100%. But at the same time, equity is also known as what you're bringing to the table. That's also your out of pocket cost. That's just something that we know in commercial real estate as well. So you might talk when you talk to a bank, they're going to say, "Hey," or you talk to a broker, or maybe you're negotiating a seller financing. They'll say, "Well, how much equity you want to bring?" They probably won't even say down payment. It's the same thing. How much equity do you want to bring? Equity is what you're bringing to the table. It's also how much equity on an asset as well. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Yes, yes, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Listen, this pretty much sums up the entirety of what I want to discuss with y'all today. Okay, I hope this was super valuable. Now, obviously, I would imagine that a lot of y'all who actually are on this call, who booked this call, who came to this presentation tonight, you didn't book this simply because you just want to learn a thing or two about hotels. Maybe you did. But moreover, some of you may actively actually be looking for deals and how you can make things like make this hotel investing thing happen this year, 2026. Okay. Now, just like we talked about earlier, the mindset, right? And the what ifs and the how, right? The how do I know this is going to be a good opportunity, right? This is what holds a lot of people back. Okay. And that's exactly why we have put together the Hotel Investor Academy. One of the things that a lot of our members, they reach out and they want to know is how can I, a lot of folks that want to know like, how can I get like a lot more support and transitioning into this specific asset class because hotels is unlike any other real estate asset class. How can I learn from those who are actually already doing this? How can I mitigate my risk, keep that risk threshold very, very low? Because again, these are like, high, six figures, a lot of times seven-figure investments. How can I structure this correctly to make sure that I am lowering my mistakes and mitigating all the risks, maximizing returns, and also obviously kind of speeding up my ability to scale this thing. and actually start cash flowing and making money from these kind of assets, which is why myself, Sujay, Brittany, and Owen, we created the Hotel Investor Academy. There's four of us that do this, right? This is straight up one-on-one coaching where we literally personally hold your hand and hold you not only accountable, but hold you to a standard through acquiring your first and several hotel deals with us. And so I want to walk you guys through exactly how we do that because we're a very, very exclusive community. As you can imagine, y'all, there's a million real estate groups out there where, you know, hundreds of members and, you know, they talk about coaching. They maybe have a coaching call every single week and, you know, they do the Zoom and maybe it's a couple hundred people in there and you kind of feel a little drowned out. I can't stress it enough that we couldn't be further from the opposite of that. That is opposite of what we do. We're a very small community. I think right now we have just under 80 people in the community. I say we're between 75 to 80 people. Um, Mostly because a lot of people don't even think that hotels is possible for one. But now that I've shown y'all just how possible they are, and you can recognize just how probable this can be for you, here's what we're doing with this program. First thing we do is we want to educate you guys. We educate you on the business itself. I need you to know this hotel business. I need you to know how to have conversations, how to underwrite these deals, which would be one of the most important skills that you'll learn. Okay. We educate you on every aspect of this business, from capital raising to building relationships, everything. So everything that we just walked through tonight in the exact step-by-step detail is provided to you when it comes to education. It's self-paced, along with direct one-on-one coaching. Myself, Sujay, Owen, and Brittany, again, all of us on multiple hotels each, right? We are the direct coaches in this program. And yes, I'm doing this class with y'all, and I am one of the direct coaches in this program, yes. But again, while yes, knowledge is power, you hear that a lot. Knowledge is power, yes, but it's truly the applied knowledge. That's what a true power is. So we have multiple different weekly coaching calls that we do with our community to get all the questions answered, run through. We have underwriting calls. We run through financing. We underwrite. We do deal reviews. We have workshops that we do. Okay. As well as we have an exclusive private WhatsApp group where y'all will have 24/7 access directly to us, where you can let us know anything that you're dealing with, message us about your deal, let us know what you got going on. You send us your questions, we answer you directly. And once you have a deal, once you have locked in on something and you know, maybe you're not sure if it makes sense. Fair enough. We will personally review it with you and run through the numbers with you with the exact underwriting model that I showed you earlier. Here's the thing about it. I want you to understand me when I say this. I'm going to lean in a little bit because there's not a member in our community that pulls a trigger on any deal without us approving it, giving them the green stamp on it. This is what we do for every single member who comes to this community. We run through the numbers. We look at deals together so that you know you're never making a decision by yourself. The confidence is there. We want you confident. So if you are closing on a deal in our program, it's because myself and well over 100 to 150 million worth of hotel deals is telling you that yes, pull the trigger, do the deal. And then finally, which is a lot of people's favorite thing about the community, is the opportunity of a network and partnerships. Most of our members actually partner together in their deals. They partner with each other. Imagine you're in a community of people, good people, that have the same goals in mind, right? So maybe you have an opportunity for a hotel, similar to the one that we showed earlier. You know, maybe it's a few $1,000,000, and obviously you're going to need to raise some capital, but you get some partners involved. This is where magic can happen, because the truth about it is, for any real estate deal, it's not just hotels, but really any real estate deal, you don't have to have all the pieces to the puzzle yourself to make it happen. You just need one piece. And that piece that I would recommend is the principal piece, the opportunist. You bring the deal. You source it, you underwrite it, you package it up and watch everything else fall in place. Okay. So if you get good at bringing the opportunity The rest of the chips will fall where they should. Not to mention, we're always looking for partners as well in our deals. All right. And a lot of times that our community is the first place we go before anywhere else for our opportunities. Now, if this seems interesting to y'all, if this seems interesting to you, and you are at all curious on how we can get this, how put like this, how you can get into this opportunity and start scaling and take things to another level, how you can get to go bigger, better, faster, scale faster, I want to invite you to book a call. I want to invite you to book a call. Feel free to scan the screen, or my team is putting the link in the chat box right now. They're putting the link in the chat box right now. Let's get. Actually, I'm gonna get you that. Let's get the link in the chat box if y'all have that. Put that link in the chat box for me, or scan the screen. There it is, right there. And by the way, very important. You're not going to just be talking to any person or somebody on our sales team or anything like that, which we do have a sales team, but everybody on this call, when you book this call, you're going to be talking to me directly. You're not talking to, you're talking to me directly. And I'm looking forward to speaking to y'all. I'm going to put the link is in there. The QR code is there. I want to get all your questions answered. I want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing so we can hold your hand through this process to make this 2026 a transformative year in your investing career. Okay, let's rock and roll, guys. The link's in the chat box right now. The QR code is on the screen. Feel free, matter of fact, if you want to, if you're not tapped in with me on social media, that's my Instagram right there. Feel free to send me a message if you have any additional questions even after this call. Or you can just pop in and let me know what's up, that you had a great time, that you learned a couple things, and that you booked your call. Feel free. Let's get it, guys. Let's make 2026 the most transformative year. I hope you're realizing just how fast these years go. Let's not take it for granted. God has been amazing. Links in the chat box right now. Again, this is not a calendar that you're going to book with just any random person. I'm inviting you to book a call with me to have a personal one-on-one conversation about how I and my team and Sujay and my partners can help you get a hotel this year. And that's the beauty of it. Good stuff, y'all. Listen. Fantastic. I'm going to see if somebody is asking. Okay, good deal, good deal. Listen, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Golly, this time went by super fast. It flies by when you're having a lot of fun. Listen, this has been amazing. I relish in this. I love this. Not only do I love the business we're in, but I love doing this. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm passionate about this. You can probably tell. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. That's fine. Okay? Listen, looking forward to seeing y'all on the call. Book it. Let's have a chat. And let's make 2026 great. Again, you're talking to me. Make sense? Fantastic, fantastic. Listen, y'all, this has been a blast. Praying that God continues to bless y'all and keep y'all, and his favor shines upon y'all and be gracious to y'all. Y'all have a blessed rest of the evening, blessed rest of the week, and we'll see y'all on the call. Fantastic. I'll see y'all. Talk to you. I'll see you, friend. Adrian, I see you. Let's get it. We'll talk soon. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.